this Air India crash, I just wanted to have a question. I was lingering in my mind about this Mayday call.
Yeah.
So, what happens actually when a pilot calls for a Mayday call in the back?
The captain knew that the control is
Mhm.
going lost. So the thrust is losing and he's know that he's losing altitude. So immediately he took that one and he said, Mayday, Mayday. Total transcript of the CVR is there.
Okay.
And a CVR can record for the last 2 hours.
Mhm.
So it keeps on recording on the same thing.
Mhm.
Anytime you take, last 2 hours information will be there.
There is a narrative that the Indian pilots can't fly.
But I know many times the cabin crew, they forgo their food and give to the passengers. To that particular altitude, he can hook on the autopilot, so the autopilot will take you to that altitude. He did not interfere. It's stable flight.
Whose vision is to have this intercity low-cost travel. Just walk in, no security check, and you can fly from, let's say, Hyderabad to Vijayawada. What are some other career options in aviation industry apart from pilot and cabin crew?
So many aircrafts, so much of congestion, and without any air accidents or maybe collisions, they're able to handle.
Airports can feel chaotic, mysterious, and sometimes even magical. But what really goes on behind the scenes of Indian aviation? Today, we are joined by an industry insider who is helping us decode everything from pilot training and flight myths to safety secrets and future of flying. Welcome Anuradha Suresh, who is an aviation expert and an engineer with over 30 years of experience in the industry. So great to have you on the show, Anuradha ma'am. So let's start at the beginning. What first got you interested into aviation and what made you stay in this industry for so long now?
Thank you so much, Jai. Likewise, for calling me onto your podcast. It was not my first job, I should tell you. I immediately after my engineering BTech, then I joined HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. So I had a degree of electronics and communication. So the management preferred to be put in the Hyderabad division, which is exclusively for avionics, the radars and the communication systems. So as you know, the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited is basically for defense.
Yeah.
So for the mostly it was for the Air Force actually. Then slowly they moved on to Navy also, the communication systems for Navy. So I was dealing with those things, the design development, and then getting those things into the production. So it was a design and development job there.
More of an engineering
Engineering,
role.
yeah, shop floor and design and all that. Then I was there for about 11 years. Then this ad for this pilot instructor, ground instructor job had come in Indian Airlines. So that was Indian Airlines at that time. You know the difference between Indian Airlines and Air India. So Indian Airlines was doing only the domestic sectors. So they were the predominant airlines now. Air India for the international sectors and Indian Airlines for the domestic sectors. And they were two different entities. There was no connection at all. Totally two different bodies and organizations. And then I got into that. That was also a very new job to me. I never thought I will walk into a instruction job actually. But then I could accommodate myself nicely. I was the only lady instructor there, so I had some problems. As you know, as such, aviation industry is male dominated in every sector, whether it is engineering or pilots, other than cabin crew, of course. So I took some time, but yes, I could navigate properly in that one. Then thereon for 20 years, I was there. I really liked the job, interacting with the pilots. Not only pilots, I had taken classes for the cabin crew also. Then also to the dispatchers, flight dispatchers or the flight operation officers, they say. So, and I took DGR classes, dangerous goods regulation. So whenever a dangerous good is supposed to be carried on board the aircraft, so which all can be carried, which all cannot be carried. Then if carried, then what are the rules, regulations, how much quantity and all that. So the pilots need to know that. So I was only speaking to the pilots regarding those. Because pilot also needs to know that there is a dangerous good on board, so that in case of any fire, suddenly they are carried only in the cargo. Of course, they need to be aware. Then and every DG doesn't require the same way of handling in case there's a fire. So those regulations and other things I was teaching. So these were all the few things which I was talking to the pilots, cabin crew, and also the dispatchers. So it's a very interesting job. As you can, when I'm narrating itself, you must have known it was different types of people I was actually adhering to. So it was a good job, very interactive job basically. So I liked it.
Okay, so when you say training, mean you develop the modules for the pilot training and the ground staff training and the content as well?
Basically not for the ground staff. I was doing basically for the flight concerned people, like flight crew, that is the pilots, and then the cabin crew and the flight dispatchers. Of course, they can be called as ground people, but connected with the flight totally. So as far as the pilot's training is concerned, every aircraft have got different systems. It's not just the engines what you see outside. So we have got hydraulic systems, we have got pneumatic systems which will make your air conditioning work in the cabin. So we have got different system. APU, in case power generators fail, there will be a backup in terms of auxiliary power unit. So there are different systems like that in an aircraft. So especially I was doing on A320 aircrafts, which are for the short haul aircrafts, like short and medium haul, like how we are using from Hyderabad to Delhi. So most of the sectors, India almost uses all A320 aircrafts only. Then Indian Airlines also at that time was using only A320. So I got a license for A320 aircrafts, and later on, the Indian Airlines has added 319 and 321, which becomes a family of A320 aircrafts. Okay. What do I mean family? All three aircrafts are basically the same as far as the cockpit is concerned, then managing or handling the doors, the cabin doors. So it's only few changes as far as the technology is concerned. So we used to brush up only on those with few hours once he's a 320 rated pilot, so that he can immediately fly a 319 or a 321. Not much difference actually. Actually 319 is called a shortened model of 320 and 321 an elongated model of. So the passenger capacity changes, that's all.
So what's the duration of these trainings for a pilot? For a commercial
so
pilot?
It would be about so first for someone to become pilot, so what they require is a minimum qualification of +2, 10 +2 with maths and physics. So now again, of course, the CR
Physics
is going
pretty
to
important,
physics and maths compulsorily. That was at those times. Now the things are going to change, I think, because DGCA is concerned, considering that anybody who has anybody who is qualified in +2, whatever may be the subjects, they can give some orientation, which will help them to understand better the systems what they learn for the CPL, the commercial pilot license, and they don't want to restrict only maths and physics. So very soon maybe that will roll out, but as of now still it is maths and physics. Still it is under consideration, but almost done, I think. And then with about 50% marks, they need to do that. Then they go for the CPL, commercial pilot license. So anybody who wants to make a really a profession into the aviation as a pilot, they need to do, first step is the CPL.
CPL license, and that is given by DGCA.
It could be given by DGCA if they're doing it in India. But otherwise, here we have a lot of procedures, norms, and procedural delays. You know how things happen here. Then normally people prefer, who have money, they go to US or maybe Australia or maybe Dubai, Middle East countries also, where it gets over fast because the availability of the resources are better there.
Is it only fast, or is it easier to get a license there as well?
It's slightly easier also, I guess.
Okay.
Easier.
Why is that?
Yeah, it's because like anything else we do in India, we do everything with over emphasis and lot of extra things which we learn. So even today you might be realizing that what all you learned in your school you may not be using now, or maybe this thing. So theirs is all to the point. More practical to the point.
Like you have to go through this.
Yeah, everything. Course. So if there's a syllabus, right from A to Z, we go everything. The instructor is given a syllabus. The instructor also will think, the whole thing has to be taught. So maybe it's not in use at all now. Piston engine and all, where we are using now, but still it is there in the syllabus. They will teach.
So you have to cover it.
Everything. So it is like that, and because the syllabus is done, the question paper also will have the questions. So it's a burden for the student also. So like that, definitely it's a bit tricky and a bit difficult getting a CPL done here. And of course, doing that, they need to do some jet engine hours, about 200 hours or so. So for that to get here also, not many academies are there. We have one in Hyderabad, Rajiv Gandhi Udan Academy, and we have one in Uttar Pradesh, Guru Indira Gandhi Udan Academy. So there are very few which are government sponsored, but otherwise private they are coming up quite a few now, because there's a boom in aviation in India now. So many are aspiring to become pilots. So many private things are also coming up.
So how have you seen the last 10 years in the aviation industry? Has it evolved? Or
Definitely. It's a magnanimous change what has happened from what we had in, let us say, 2014 to what was there in 2024 or 2025. A boom. In fact, India has become the third largest in the aviation market now, next to US and China. So I'm talking in terms of passenger volume. So, but still, when we are talking of passenger volume, we are still captured only about 4% of the air traffic. Even though we are standing third.
4% of air traffic meaning?
So whatever the number of passengers which are going all around the world, so 4% of that only we have captured.
4% of the world air traffic.
So we are talking in terms of world only, no? But then as per the population, we stand to be about 18% of the population we have of the world in India.
Yeah.
So there's still lot of things which we can actually do and strive towards having a better market in the aviation. But still we are third largest, next to US and China, I should
US
say.
and China, and India is third. Okay.
India is third. But there's a huge still opportunities available in India.
Okay.
Because not much of the Indian population is fully flying.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is 18% of the population of the world we have, but we have still captured only 4% of the passenger volume of the air traffic. So you can understand there's still a lot of scope available in India to strive through.
Any other changes in the last 10 years? Any other improvements apart from
Yeah,
this?
a lot many improvement. And why this boom happened, you should be asking that. The boom has happened because of the privatization.
Okay.
So a lot of privatization, lot many private sectors have come, then improvement in the airports, and then fleet. Fleet have been enlarged everywhere. Technology advancement has come. So reliability of the aircrafts have come. So, and of course, the economy of India also has improved. That people have started.
People can afford a plane ticket.
Yes, and the first time the Air Deccan had come out with the low-cost carriers, LCCs. So where he had actually said with 1 rupee, he has started the ticket price at that time. There was a movie also which had come out.
Captain Gopinath.
Yeah. So I don't remember the movie's name, but one Hindi movie also.
Suresh Potturu, if I remember.
Something, So in every language, I think it has come. So that has really given a thing for all the middle class and other people also that yes, we can also fly. But otherwise, it was just a dream for that class of people thinking that that we could fly someday. So now it has become to a reach to everybody. That yes, we can fly. And now most of the time it has become a normal transport now, isn't it? Everybody, even to Hyderabad to Bangalore, people would like to travel by air in spite of the long distances from the airport, especially from Bangalore to the city. It's a long, very far, but still people prefer that.
But do you think with respect to the security checks in Indian airport, it's like almost this trip, you have to put your belt out to watch out compared to that of a Changi airport or a Dubai airport, the e-security gets.
Correct. That is because, as I was talking of privatization, the airports also got privatized, Hyderabad, Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai also. These are all the big airports which got privatized. So when you see the comparison with Kolkata airport, you can understand that whatever the thing happened in these airports is definitely better. But and of course this also because of privatization, the GMR, Adani Group, they all have walked into these airports and they had made it so big. In Hyderabad and Delhi have got international awards also, the airports. So in spite of all this, the automation has not come to that level of whatever you are saying, maybe Singapore, Dubai, and or maybe the Changi airport and other things. So still the automation and the passenger handling. So now it is slightly improved, but at least 2 years back, the Hyderabad airport used to be a chaos in the morning. All morning, because people would travel by the morning flights, reach to the particular city, finish off their job, maybe one day job, again come back by evening flight. It's pretty easy, isn't it? So the morning flight, it used to be pretty chaos there. But now it's all streamlined. So maybe people are learning from what is happening and they're trying to correct themselves and it is improving. But definitely it's better than what we had a few years back.
But will it increase the cost of these private players if they invest more in security check to optimize that?
The burden has to be done by the passenger only. They will say UDF, user development fee, this. And then again, airlines also would like to put something because they need to do their own money because of all these new security things and other things. An incident happens, the security becomes doubled. They do at the airport and again at the entry level and again at the entry level into the aircraft. Before getting onto the ramp, again they check. So all these things will include time and resources. So that will also add something to them, definitely. In end of the day, it will be the passenger paying for that. So now you see that basically the major grudge and why a airline ticket becomes costly is because of the ATF. Aviation turbine fuel, whatever we say, with the fuel which is used. So it's basically pure kerosene. If you're talking,
it's the major thing that goes to the cost structure.
Major thing. So that happens to be very costly in India. The taxes what we have. So we have VAT and then we have the central excise, this thing. And all this, somewhere it goes to up to 28% also. And it is different in different states, like how we have our petrol and diesel. It becomes, so now we have this Udan, na?
The new scheme.
So Aam Aadmi Punyakar. So that particular thing has come up. So in Bihar, for all these regional routes, I believe they have reduced it to 4%. So that to encourage the flying from the regional routes from small towns to the town to town. But otherwise, it goes as high as 28 to 29% in different states. That is a major factor. which adds to the passenger ticket.
So if we have to improve or optimize or make it more efficient in terms of security, the cost has to be...
The government has to take a part in that and say uniform thing has to come up, something like that. Maybe some regulation, something has to come up like that.
Okay. So coming back to pilot training, so are there simulation?
We were talking about that. So pilot training, we were talking about CPL. Then after CPL, so you get a CPL outside, let us say somewhere in the foreign country, then you have to come back to India and convert it into Indian license again.
Okay.
That is there. They just don't accept. DGCA, you know, the DGCA is the regulator authority in India.
So foreign licenses, you mean, are not accepted by DGCA?
Immediately it is not accepted, at least the CPL. So they come here, they need to do some this thing, and then some subjects and other things they have to pass, and then it will be accepted. And the next stage is to get an endorsement.
Okay.
Endorsement. So we have different aircraft to fly, isn't it? So we have aircraft from Airbus, aircraft from Boeing, you have Embraer. So we have different manufacturers making their aircraft. So the basic flying philosophy will be the same. You have the same rudder, ailerons, and then the elevator. These are the three primary control surfaces which actually allow the aircraft to maneuver in the air. So, but then each one could be having different control panels. You see, you drive one car to a different car, the control panels are slightly different.
So Airbus is different from that of a Boeing.
So basic flying philosophy could be the same, but the concepts and the technology what they have put in, and what about the controls, whether they are placed to the left or right, and these things change. So then definitely the technology also would be different. So a aspiring pilot after CPL would have to undergo an endorsement.
Okay.
So they need to know entire thing about the aircraft. About the controls they are available here, when they will use, before starting of a flight, which are all the SOPs they are supposed to do, standard operating procedures. Then after a flight, what are the SOPs? And phase-wise, actually. Then takeoff, climb, cruise, then descent, approach, and landing. So at different phases of this flight, they have got their own SOPs to be followed, standard operating procedures. I mean, basically, you're getting the aircraft ready for that particular phase. And through the phase, when you're exiting that phase, again, some SOPs so that you'll get on to the next phase. So it goes like that. And then they need to know abnormal procedures. So now we had the recent incident, or maybe another incident like fire in the engine happened in the middle of the... Then there's no other resource.
So all these are simulation trainings?
No. First they need to know on-ground training. So like I was a ground instructor, nothing to do with flight. So I will teach them in a classroom. So in case there is a fire, what happens? Which are other things going to affect? Which are the checklists you're supposed to do? Which are the actions you're supposed to do immediately? So today's modern aircraft, everything comes on the display. They have the displays in front of them, both the commander and the first officer. So they have on the displays, everything is coming up. So if there's a fire, you get an engine fire message, red color.
Alerts.
So alerts. Then blaring sounds in the cockpits and all that. And then the checklist. Put this off, put it on, so that the fire extinguisher will get, agent will come out, and wherever the engines are there, the engines are already kept there, but the controls are available in the cockpit. So you press the push button, the agent get dispersed there.
Okay.
So the probable positions where it can happen, so there the agents will be there, maybe 1, 2, depending upon the size of the engine, and one after the other, what they are supposed to do after 60 seconds or 60 minutes, or maybe after 60 minutes of dispersing of first agent, the second agent. So procedures like that. So every fire like that. Maybe in the cargo. So you're there in flight, you're only confined to cockpit and cabin as far as the humans are concerned, isn't it? You cannot access your cargo. You cannot access your engines now. So the checklist is coming, but the agents would be there somewhere there, the probable place where the fire can happen. And they are actually activating or pressing the push buttons, which will activate the fire extinguishing agents in that place and try to hold the or control the fire. And then it will be ASAP, of course, as soon as possible. So nearest available, in spite of that, even if you have controlled the fire, best thing is to come down and just check the whole thing, what has happened, and then maybe taken over. So all these trainings on ground, and then there will be, so I'm a ground instructor, as I told you, and then there will be another episode of flight instructors. Flight instructors are basically only pilots. So they have to
pilots, senior pilots giving training to the younger
So they have to get the licenses, of course, not just because you have finished 8,000 hours, 15,000 hours, you'll become, no. They need to get the training done and then certified by DGCA that they are flight instructors. Okay. So those people will try to train all these things in the simulator. So, the simulator is exactly the way, like you ask the simulator that you are going from Hyderabad to Delhi and you are doing a landing into Delhi or taking off from Hyderabad. It will give an exact picture of the Hyderabad airport, the way you're taking off. Everything will be there on the display. And then you get the feel of as if you're, and entries into the, what do you say, there's an MCDU, multifunction control display unit, where we are telling into that we are planning a flight from Hyderabad to Delhi, let us say. So all that thing we are entering there, we are going from this place to this place, the flight plan, whatever is supposed to be. So like any other roadmap we have, the Google is saying. So we have a flight plan so that the aircraft will be taken through that flight plan and then be guided to the destination. So all these things will be there in the simulator, an exact replica,
So this is an instructor training which is based on simulation.
Correct, exactly.
It includes hijacking kind of scenarios as well?
Hijacking, no. It's mostly because of, it is these things. Fire and what is the checklist to be done. In flight crew incapacitation. As such, there are 2 crew. Let us say one flight crew gets incapacitated. Then what will be if it so happens that first officer incapacitated, no problem. Commander is there, isn't it?
Incapacitation meaning like what?
Like suddenly they lost consciousness. So they are out there. So
health related could
be, or sometimes. That is the reason we used to have a rule in Indian Airlines. So whatever the food given to the captain will not be given to the first officer in case of food poisoning is there. So if the same food is given, in case it is having the same contamination, both of them will be affected. So that's the rule. So such things are there. So that's one, because of whatever reason, maybe the food he has taken and all those things. Then if he gets affected and lost consciousness, or he is not able to manage whatever the duties he's supposed to do at that point of time, the other person will take over and they will be able to do everything. So these things will be simulated in the sense it's basically like a drama happening like this. Then how he will take over and start doing the controls. So you have the same exact controls before the commander and before the first officer. Need be a first officer also will be able to do the entire job what a commander is doing, like that.
Okay, and any other training related to soft skills or behavioral, because a pilot has to make a lot of decisions at times, which are critical.
Decision making and all that, yes, they do that before the simulation itself. Before simulation, they have a briefing, and after the simulation, the debriefing will be there. Simulator classes, because they will say which are all the mistakes they have done, what corrections they are supposed to do, and all that. Soft skills in the same, yes, they have their own classes. We have nothing to do with that, but yes. They, and not in the decision making, I am sure. Decision making and all they get to know through the flying only, and because of the simulation. But the most, So, and in spite of whatever the simulating classes they are doing, or whatever hours they have spent, what exactly happens in the aircraft, again, it will be a different scenario, isn't it? We can only give you an insight that in
real
case,
time is completely different.
So it's only that reflexes how they have to act immediately for a pilot in case a situation like that arises. But it could be slightly different. So then they need to modulate themselves to adapt to that situation. So that's how. So we only gear up them to handle a situation. So as much as possible.
You are equipping them through training.
Yes, as much as. So that's the part of the flight instructor. And after that, this is only in the simulator. Then they will have loft and SLF, supernumerary flying. So that particular trainee will sit in the cockpit as an observer. So they'll have a certain number of hours. They keep on monitoring, observing what is happening in the cockpit in different ways. So that is basically to do a normal flight, of course. In case an abnormality happens on that particular day, it's her luck. So she's seeing that part also. Not many abnormalities happen, because the type of checks and other things which are done for an aircraft. So generally it doesn't happen. Otherwise, it's a smooth flight. You must have flown so many times. How many times it got affected? Not much, isn't it? So the trainee will undergo all these observation flights. Then they will give the flying with continuous monitoring. And then they give the takeoff. So it's stage by stage,
This also happens with the cabin crew. I've seen trainees onboarding the flight, and they're just
cabin
observing
crew. It's a different story. Again, cabin crew also they are given technical classes. Like what we give. Not to the extent what to the pilot
of course,
is
they
given.
Need to know
But they should know at least what is an elevator or an aileron, or some passenger saying, some knowledgeable passenger saying something what it is. So they also have good enough information, technical information. So it is there in the syllabus of the DGCA. So, but some airlines just take them as frontline people who are supposed to give a pleasing attitude of the aircraft, of the airlines to the passengers. So they want to be basically good appealing and appearance cabin crew. So some airlines don't prefer to take persons at all, men at all. They don't want. So it's like that. But of course, many a passenger will definitely get pleased with good appearances and good attitude and pleasing attitude of the cabin, because that makes an impact, first impact about the airlines. But otherwise, they know in case they are handling ovens. The food, we don't prepare food on the aircraft. No? The caterers will come, put all the food into the board onto the aircraft, and it might be cold. Sometimes it will be prepared the day before. It's a early morning flight at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock for the international. So it will be prepared the day before. So everything must have been there in the cold storage. So that will come onto the aircraft. So they need to be warmed up. So we have ovens and we have hot jugs so that coffee and tea can be given. This much job the cabin crew will do. Warming up and then preparation of tea, of course, or maybe the hot water along with that, whatever they are giving. And then serving, of course, they do. So in case there's a fire in that oven, being an electrical equipment, it can happen anytime, isn't it? So they have CBs,
Okay.
So in case a CB trips, what your CB circuit breaker? In case there's a problem in the equipment, it trips automatically. Like how we have fuses nowadays, we have CBs at home also. So like that. So what they are supposed to do in case there's a fire in the oven suddenly. In fact, a cabin crew, you should know, they'll be given medical training also to some extent. First aid training. So nowadays we have got AEDs, automated external defibrillators. So earlier it used to be only hand CPR which was told to them, but now we have AEDs like how we have in the railway stations and other places. Sudden heart attack. So they know, they are taught how to administer and use that particular equipment. There are cases where cabin crew could do delivery to the moms, pregnant ladies. Yes. So we had one in Indian Airlines. It was not even Air India at that time, or was it Air India? I am not sure. But from Hyderabad, there was a crew. They are shown minimum things. Because normally if there's a doctor, yes, they'll page for a doctor first immediately.
They'll search. Ask who is
so
a
they'll
doctor.
put it on the PA and ask if there's a doctor, please come forward. Then there's no doctor, then what to do? Aircraft suddenly cannot go down somewhere, isn't it? It requires a certain proper airport to land, depending upon the size of the aircraft. Not every aircraft can land on any airport, no? The runway length and other things matter. So till the point of time it is taken there, the immediate first aid or whatever the procedure has to be done by a cabin crew. They have the medical equipment also, a first aid equipment, first aid kit and a medical kit. So medical kit, of course, has to be handled only by a practitioner, medical practitioner. But first aid kit, any cut, anything. So they have got also any small headache, somebody's complaining, the paracetamols, something band-aids. These things are all available. And cabin crew is trained to do that.
Yeah. What is one thing that irritates the cabin crew when passengers ignore any safety instruction? Or the common safety instruction that almost at all times.
Mobiles. Mobile is the first thing. See, so much of technology is coming into the aircraft. Right, so you must be seeing at home also. You're working with your computer, and then suddenly you get a mobile, so you can hear that things changing on your laptop or something. Suddenly there will be guessing. But of course, today's laptops have become even better than that. But yes, there is some effect when you have a mobile there. Basically, it's interference, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is an EMS interference. That is what is the radio signals coming
with the aircraft system.
So this is what can happen. And the most critical phases of an aircraft is the takeoff and land. That's the most critical because you're nearer to the ground. Anything happens, it will be an immediate collapse. So takeoff and landing, we want the passengers to switch off. I know the technology has improved. In fact, the technology of the aircraft systems also has improved so that they will not get affected by these things maybe. But it's always better to be careful, isn't it? Cautious. Why? As long as nothing happens, everybody says, kya hoga? That airline is allowing, this airline is allowing. Why not? So at least put it on airplane mode. They are not. They are not bothered. So the captain is announcing for takeoff. Ring once. Mobile is ringing, saying something, and he'll try to hide. He'll simply take that and try to put it back. See what you can understand, what you can see from the passenger attitude. They still want to do whatever they want, but maybe because she's saying no, they want to hide it and do it. But not to say because that's a rule. Let us keep it off. No. That's not the attitude. That is that basic one attitude what we have, Indian mentality, I should say. I do not know.
There's a culture of safety maybe.
That has to get imbibed in a passenger. End of the day, they are saying that for you, isn't it? You put a helmet but unless they say the traffic police say you will get charged with 1,000 rupees, then only you put the helmet. But why are you putting helmet on a two-wheel? It's for you. Nobody is interested in that. Unless it becomes a rule. That's unless you are charged and penalized for that, you won't put it on. Or you don't put it on, you're seeing a traffic police there, immediately you'll pull it out and try to put it on at that point of time. So these things I feel, and that's the most irritating thing happening for the cabin crew, especially this one. And of course, something see, they are also end of the day, they have their own limitations.
Yeah.
Food is there, catering is there, and abhi kuch Jain, somebody want Jain food. Of course, that has to be pre-ordered. Aisa kuch, non-veg. So with some this thing they put. And we are not asking the passenger, do you eat non-veg or veg, isn't it? When they are buying the ticket. So with approximation, they put so many non-veg, so many veg. So sudden now, let us say all non-veg is over, and finally by the time she comes to the last seat, that he happens to be a core non-veg passenger. He wants non-veg food only. From where will she get now? You tell me.
Yeah.
This veg food, can we not accommodate that?
Even many times the passengers are not very empathetic.
No, not at all. They say, see, the only thing what they say is we have paid. Why should we be empathetic? Let me get everything, whatever I can. But you see, what resources she has to get that. But I know many times the cabin crew, they forego their food and give to the passengers. They are also given food because anyway they can't get the food from it. So they forego their food and give to the passengers, be it veg or non-vegetarian. Sometimes there will be some option. Sometimes that option is not available in case it is their tray. They will give off their tray to them. So they also go to that extent and do things.
Okay. Have you heard of this LAT Aerospace recently from Zomato founder Dipender Goyal, whose vision is to have this intercity low-cost travel, just walk in, no security check, and you can fly from, let's say, Hyderabad to Vijayawada, something like that.
For regional connections.
Yeah, like bus stations.
Correct. I have heard of that. I have yet to see how famous
Is it possible to have it practical in the practical sense?
No, but security checks, as long as it is in air, it better be the security checks and everything to be authentically done. Because see, today is the age of terrorism, isn't it? So somebody should not take it as a cue that they can do anything, and that aircraft falling in the middle of the city, you know what would happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not only the passengers on the aircraft, but they are doing a greater damage to the city on which they are falling. He must be having his own. See, these are the basic things. He also must be knowing.
Yeah,
he
you
must
need
be
to have
having
a safety demo. You need to have the onboarding
safety
time.
demo, and depends. You know, the safety demo is basically for the whatever you're taking for the oxygen they do normally. Na? That is only for the aircraft which fly about 25,000 feet. So you're flying at a lower altitude. So these are small aircraft. They could be flying only about 12,000, 13,000 maybe. So then that is not required. The only thing is they should have enough extra oxygen on board so that somebody, say every physics is not the same. So I could be tolerating that altitude, somebody could not be tolerating. So then basically you go higher and higher altitude, the oxygen content becomes less. So if your body is able to take that less oxygen and still you're able, all your vitals are working fine, that means yes, you have a good physics. But somebody is not, then immediately they should be supplied with oxygen. So for that, for aircraft flying at lower altitudes, they need to have sufficient amount of oxygen on board in case there's an emergency like this. They should. But otherwise, about 25,000, it is mandatory to have the fixed oxygens. This is called as a fixed oxygen system, what you have overhead. But whatever the stored oxygen, that is portable oxygen system.
Why doesn't aircraft fly in higher altitudes or these places like Himalayas and those mountainous areas?
Yeah, it's treacherous terrain, isn't it? So, but still we are flying, isn't it? We fly to Leh. Leh is about 10,700 feet or something, the altitude of the Leh airport, and Leh as such. The total flight is over Himalayas only. We have flights from Delhi, only from Delhi we have. And it's a very tricky flight actually. So maneuvering through such high peaks and everything. So the pilots are specially trained. Not every pilot do that flight. So only specially trained pilots, and they have got simulator exposure again and again to fly such flights. Only they will be able to do those things. Not every pilot will be allowed to do that. They have to get a special license for getting that.
So what's working actually with Indigo? I think it's the most profitable airlines in India.
Profitable, that is what
is
the
it
papers
the
say.
Business model or the operational efficiency, or what is it exactly?
Yeah, they're very strict. See, like Air India is slightly trying to transform onto those lines now after the Tatas have taken over. But still, Tatas, they are all employee friendly only, as you can see the other airlines. So still to that norm. But Indigo is very strict in every way. Every way. And if a rule is made, it has to be followed.
Okay, the culture of adhering to
right
rules.
from the beginning, the culture has been, and the culture has been commercial all the time.
Okay.
All the time it has been commercial. So it's like that, and it's a low-cost air, so nothing is there. Whatever you are taking on the flight, it is charged. So it is not like that. Even on a 1 hour flight, on a Air India flight, they give you something. which is a part of your ticket only. Maybe they're charging less just to face a competition from Indigo and other airlines. Air India could be charging less on that day for that ticket, but still, whatever the food or the beverage or whatever they are giving, everything goes onto the ticket. They don't charge anything extra. There was a time in Indigo when they were charging for water also, I think. So nothing like that. So, but they are following a business model and a business policy, which is strictly adhered to. And right from the beginning, the Indigo got incorporated. It has been there. So it has become a culture now. Nobody questions that. But Air India, like any other government department or government organization, people have been free. People can talk anything. People can say anything. People can demand anything. It has been that culture, though it has done a very good job for country, I'm sure. But then that has been the culture. So once something is said by the management, they don't just take it. They need to check that, crucifix it, dissect it, see whether it is okay for them. Then only things come.
Even after
Everything is questionable.
Even after the takeover by Tata is also kind of a semi-government culture kind of a thing. It's not very strict, maybe not like that of Indigo.
But still, it is better than Air India, I guess.
Yeah, better.
In comparative, relatively, if you see, it's better than Air India.
Yeah. So coming to this Air India crash, I just wanted to have a question. I was lingering in my mind about this Mayday call.
Yeah.
So what happens actually when a pilot calls for a Mayday call in the back end?
Mayday is something which is going to affect the flight totally. That means there can be fatalities, severe loss of something which is going to affect the total flight. But then we have something called pan. That is only losing some system, which is not going to have a major effect on the flight.
Oh, are there different grades of Mayday call?
No, there's only one.
Only one.
One Mayday call, which is saying that yes, it's going to be severe problem on the aircraft.
Only in case of severity.
Severity, yes. Engine failures, fire in the aircraft, where there could be some fatalities, severe damage to the aircraft. So where pilot also is losing control on the aircraft. These are some few situations where Mayday call is called. Another one is pan, where basically a system failure. But maybe still he's not able to...
Which is lesser in terms of severity than a Mayday
Definitely. So he's still able to control, but he feels that he better land soon. So that priority, basically, pan, if he's saying when you are entering into an airport, to give a priority for landing. Because normally you are lined up, isn't it? For landing. So if you have seen in a Delhi, nowadays it is less, but if just 3, 5, 6 years back, there used to be a queue to land into the Delhi airport.
Yeah.
So they used to give it's congestion. So the captain used to say, we are 36 now, we are 34 now. That means that is how we were approaching the airport in that particular queue. That was our number allotted to us. So at such times, if there is a failure of any system and he feels, then if it says pan, then his priority will be given to him. He'll be pulled out of that, priority will be given so that he can land.
Okay, so what happens in the background? Let's say the pilot calls a Mayday. So who receives the call then?
The ATC receives the call. That is basically for ATC.
What is that?
ATC, Air Traffic Control.
Air Traffic Controller.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was actually, see now that in that particular accident which happened on June 12th, unfortunately, AI-171, the captain knew that the control is going lost. So the thrust is losing and he know that he's losing altitude. So immediately he took that one and he said, Mayday. So the ATC was asking, what is your call sign? Because out of the way, suddenly he said, so that if whatever the problem, if they're landing, they wanted to know where to track that particular one. But by the time he could say anything, they saw the aircraft landing outside the airport on the building.
Okay.
So there was no particular thing to be told that this is the aircraft which met with this accident.
Yeah, got it. So how do you feel from your lens as an expert? The investigation is going on around this crash.
So finally we have come to that. So 171, that both the pilots are good enough experience. The left-hand seat, that is the commander. The commander sits on the left-hand seat and the first officer on the right-hand side. So he has good experience, about 15,000 hours plus senior as a pilot, very senior pilot. And of course, on this particular aircraft, about 8,000 hours. So there is no reason why people are talking that some sabotage has been happened or some people have deliberately put this switch. The pilots have put the report, whatever has made, has simply said the fuel switches have transitioned from run to cut off. Okay, but whether I really doubt. See, I'm not a Boeing person, as I told you already. I'm a 320 person. So has the switches actually have gone from run to cut off, and then the pilot has, then they said that again it was put to run so
Yeah.
that immediately one of the engines could recover, but the other engine could not recover. But by that time the enough altitude was lost, so it could not gather itself. The aircraft could not gather itself. So naturally these switches are controlling one valve, fuel valve inside the engine, which will basically close or open.
And I
depending
also
on
heard that this is not just you can pull off and it gets
correct.
shut
Any
down.
control in an
It's a
aircraft will
three-step
be
process.
like any control in an aircraft just by nudging or touching. Generally, it doesn't happen unless there's some locking mechanism failure. So you need to pull it up, okay, then take it to run, and then you leave it again. It comes again. You pull it up and then take it to cut off like that.
So could not be by accident, or someone has to be deliberate, but you can't blame on a dead pilot.
Correct. So yeah, so that is what is the basic presumption that. But are they talking about the switch, or are they talking about the valve inside, which is cut off and then closed, and again it opened? So if there's a software glitch, which has already happened in one of the Air Nippon Airways of Japan, this same 787 aircraft has happened. This one where the fuel valve closed.
Aircraft.
Same 787, I am saying you. So the fuel valve has closed and opened, but fortunately for them, it has happened during approach.
Okay.
So the pilot could manage to get the aircraft on the landing. So both the engines shut down, and then they took the ground help, and the aircraft was stowed to the gate. So that happened. So nothing, no fatalities, nothing. Fortunate for them, it happened during the approach. And then we do not know what exactly happened. So and then that report also said, that AIB report, one pilot asked, why did you cut off? And the other pilot said, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. What exactly was the conversation about? Was it about the fuel switches only? The only words, why did you cut off? And he said, no, I didn't.
They have not released the full conversation. No. This is only a quote from within.
So there's something called black box. You all must see now everybody has become an aviation expert after the media has been talking so much about that. Every day you have some piece of information about that, and videos, so many YouTube videos from foreign media. So in this aircraft, we have got two black boxes. So one in the forward, one in the aft. Like otherwise, the aircraft what I was teaching, A320, it had only one black box in the rear. So they had two black boxes, and normally black boxes including one CVR and one FDR. CVR is cockpit voice recorder, which is completely recording whatever is happening in the cockpit.
So this even small the sound investigators takes the recording from
total transcript of the CVR is there, and a CVR can record for the last 2 hours. So it keeps on recording on the same thing. Anytime you take, last 2 hours information will be there. Okay. So like that we have an FDR, flight data record, where it is configured for 25 hours, but otherwise you can configure it for more hours also. Nowadays it has become chip technology, ICs and everything, so the capability is more, but otherwise DGCA mandates for at least last 25 hours. So all the parameters of important systems, whichever is supposed to be essential for a proper flight, they're all being recorded. A set of parameters continuously again and again.
Are there cameras also recording? No.
No cameras inside the cockpit.
Is there any safety protocol there, or?
No cameras inside the cockpit. So, but otherwise, IATA and other people have been saying, in case anything like this, like if there had been a camera now, we could have actually known whether it was done by the crew or not. So, but that is not there. If you have cameras outside, so that is basically no intrusion can happen. Nobody can just get into the cockpit. So basically for a hijacking situation. So there's we have the displays inside the cockpit where the flight crew can actually check who is trying to come in. It will be logged, of course, all the time. So even somebody taps, or there's a procedure for them, how a cabin crew will try to access a cockpit entry for sometimes to give them some tea and coffee and other things. So they have a protocol, which will be again discussed before flight. The captain says, this is what you're supposed to do this so that I will allow you. So she does that. So he will check whether it is the same lady or one of the cabin crew standing there, and then he'll unlock the door so that she can push the door and come inside. But in case it is somebody else, then he'll double lock it so that he cannot enter at all.
Okay.
So we do not know exactly what has happened, and I, for one, truly feel that without knowing anything, we should not disgrace a person. That too, when he is not able to defend himself, he is no more. We do not know actually what is, but already the foreign media is saying, first officer asked, captain has answered, then and everything.
Yeah, there's a narrative that the Indian pilots can't fly.
Why this is not right? Absolutely not right. So at least you should respect yourself to say such things, isn't it? And you cannot keep talking about a person who cannot defend himself. That too, not knowing correctly whether it is actually done by him or not. See, it's one of the newspapers itself have said that he's very attached to his father. That much everybody agrees. And then before getting onto the flight, he called up his father and said, "So once I reach London, I'll call you." A person who has actually decided to do all these things, do you think he would have done and talked to his father like that?
Yeah.
Isn't it? See, not at all. See, it's a basic body language, body demeanor, and talk. What is the speech you have given or talking? Whatever the talk you have done, will give a slight idea, but somebody has got such an idea, isn't it? So, and in fact, I've spoken to a few of the 787 pilots, because quite a few Air India pilots are also there who have gone from here. I know them. So they said he's a gentleman. He has been always like that. The residents in the colony have said like that. His cabin crew, many of the cabin crew sometimes chit with the captains because they keep pestering you, asking you, get this, get that. But he's a very gentleman person, always accommodative, trying to help us also in case required. That is what is the voice of everybody talking about them. Even let us say bizarre thing, suddenly something happened and he has decided, definitely that one call which he has made to his father, I feel he would not have
just before the flight.
Just before the flight, he would not have talked to his father like that. Definitely not.
Absolutely.
I am totally against whatever is happening in the world now. And one thing I really got it is that at the 11th hour on June 12th it has happened. July 12th, by July 11th, 30 days gets over. The 11th, by 30 days, the Annexure 13 says FICA says it has to be released, prelim report. The 11th hour, in the evening around 11:30 they released. But 3 days before itself, everybody in the foreign media were talking about the fuel switches. Being the culprit, who cut off captain and all those things. How did the report leak to those people before it was even released in India?
Interests.
We really know. Now also, we cannot. The problem is we cannot pinpoint anybody. There were so many people in the that particular group who were undergoing taking up the investigation, giving clean chit to Boeing, saying no problem with the engines.
Previous reports, if I'm not wrong, during 2018 and 19 regarding the same switches.
Correct. So there was a bulletin, special bulletin, which was given by FAA, that's the regulatory body of America. So they said there is a problem, or there can be a problem with the locking mechanism. The same part number, they have given a list of part numbers, because approximately the same switches are being used in different Boeing aircraft in other models also. So the switch which is used in 7878, which was involved in the incident, in the accident now. So that particular part number also is there. And there can be a chance that the locking mechanism can fail. That is what they said. So they said you better do an inspection. So that
everyday
you check.
inspection was
so before the flight, you just check and do. But Air India never bothered to do that because it was not a mandatory one. So it becomes mandatory.
Good to do, but not mandatory.
So if it's a mandatory one, it comes as an airworthiness directive. We call it as an AD. So it was not in that type. But UK has found some problems, I believe, in March, and then they came out saying with this thing that mandatorily all the before this incident itself, that they are supposed to do everything. So now suddenly then DGC also woke up. Why? When you have made a report saying that there is no problem with the switches, Boeing has got no problem. Suddenly they have come up just about 1 week back also saying by July 21st, all the switches of whichever airlines are flying in India should be inspected and the report to be given to them whether they are okay or not. When you actually feel there is no problem.
Now the urgency.
Now why did this need come up at all? Why did you have to tell the pilots to do this? That means there's at least a 0.001% that there could be a chance of switches failing. That means that is what you thought now. That is the reason you asked everybody to check. Then can you not give that 1.1001% benefit of doubt to the pilot? Can you not do that?
But will there be a final report also which can supersede this?
Unfortunately, Jay, that particular report takes about 1 year, generally what we have seen in the earlier reports, because that will be an exhaustive report. Everything being checked and this thing, unless somebody intervenes and say, then yes.
But I also understand that there is no pilot in the investigation team, or there should not be.
That is also, till now that has been the concept. Now the pilot unions and other things, at least as an observer, maybe they will not have a say in what is happening, at least as an observers to see what is happening, what is seeing. So now people are doubting, isn't it, how the report is made and all that.
And who selects this investigation bodies? DGC?
DGC and it's basically them. And it is basic understanding DGCA, then it is a regulatory authority that it has got the responsibility of getting the investigation done. So naturally, it goes who is the manufacturer of the aircraft, then who is this, who is that, so like that. And there was not even an AME of 787 also. It was only purely those people, and I believe there was an HL person. That is what they were saying in this thing, because connected with aviation. But otherwise, nobody from pilots, nobody was there. If they had one, at least the pilots would have had that this thing. I mean, peace of mind. At least it was unbiased one, or maybe not a prejudiced
Yeah,
one.
now it seems like
Yeah, now they are
biased.
doubting because they have flown, isn't it? Many of them have flown with that particular captain and that first officer. They feel they are not the type who could have done that. But
Got
still, there is a chance. See, like German Wings was one airline. There was a suicidal act done by the first officer. So we had a clear
German
picture.
Wings
We had a
crash.
clear picture there. That was a 320 aircraft, if I remember
That
right.
was deliberate, yeah. That was
So
deliberate.
he saw that the captain went out. Maybe he went to the loo or something, the captain. So the first officer was there inside. He locked himself. So I told you that door locking mechanism can be locked so that you cannot allow from outside anybody.
Yeah.
So he locked the door. And then he put they were flying at a very high altitude. Then he put an altitude of 100 and made the autopilot go down to that particular 100 feet. 100 feet is so close to the ground. And then it went and hit, and naturally and there's enough proof that it has been done like that.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You immediately say that yes, pilot has done. Everybody will agree that he saw that the pilot is the commander outside who has gone is going on banging the door, open the door, open. He didn't respond, and all those things we have. I told everything as a proof that this is what has done, and he has actually done and deliberately done. So you're there. You're blaming whoever I think it was a co-pilot. He has done. There's a reason. I mean, correct. What
But
you've
not in
done
this
is
case.
not in this case. What doubt you have? Just because he has got some family problem somewhere. This thing now that also the media only is
that has
digging out.
been okay. Been dug out now.
Media is digging out somewhere, sometimes something. How can you connect that one? Each one of us has got a problem like that sometime, somewhere, something, isn't it? Don't you have? Every human being has got a problem.
Unless it is on the same day, then it makes sense. It's
Sometime,
not like 1 week
sometime,
back.
not even 1 week, years back. Something they're taking that one and now trying to connect that one and say something. That is not definitely not correct on their part, and we are doing very injustice to the people who are not there on ground now.
But what is the role of DGCA in all this, and who takes care of communicating with the families of deceased people and
that is all airlines only.
Airlines.
Because all this compensation announced, and as such, Tata they have got a Tata Trust. So additionally, they try to give some money to all these people. All this maybe some emails and other things must have gone from all that airlines will take care. DGCA is basically in charge of all the accident investigation, making the reports, and doing the coordination between all these people, and all that DGCA does.
Have you watched this movie Sully?
That is in fact, when you talk of dual engine failure, the first one was Sullenberg's 320 aircraft. That was
Is
also
it
a
the most
320 aircraft.
celebrated event, and the captain is a celebrated personality in the aviation industry around the world?
No, afterwards.
Afterwards.
Earlier, he was just like any other captain. So God has given that chance, and he has beautifully orchestrated it properly so that no fatalities has happened. And so fortunate of him. So that time the dual engine failure because of bird injection.
Bird hit.
Bird injection. So both the birds have gone into the engine. Bird hits happens. Bird hit is different. Bird injection is different.
What is the difference?
Bird hit is maybe it is hitting from the outside and then falling something, but still they come back. Bird injection, bird is totally gone into the engine.
Inside the engine.
Sucked into the engine.
So there is no way
engine
out.
is continuously sucking the air from outside, and then everything is happening. So the engines are both sucked, and it was such a flock of birds. Both the engines have sucked. Both the engines. Then a flame out, and both the engines have shut down. Luckily for him, this has happened around 3,000 feet after takeoff, and immediately there was that Hudson River. So he made a dive into the river. So anyway, you do a dive into the river, which will be with engine shutdown only. So with gear up, of course, because we don't require
Is
a
it
gear
safe to land
ditching.
on the
That
river?
is called as ditching.
Okay.
That is, we have a procedure for ditching. So
And the captain followed all the protocols and procedures perfectly.
Yes, and the cabin crew are also trained for that, because captain is only doing something sitting in the cockpit to basically save, but the actual actors are the cabin crew doing the passenger handling, the tensions and the cryings and all that happening.
Yeah.
So we have different types of people in the cabin, isn't it? Somebody can withstand that one, somebody can't, crying and all that. So all the crowd control will be done basically faced by the cabin crew. So we know, somebody sitting at the emergency exit door, we give a briefing there, that in case they require, so the doors
Mostly
were
in
open.
India, we don't listen.
Because we say that anyway it doesn't happen. So why she's giving, we put a board face like that.
0.01% chance.
Yeah. So we keep our faces here, there, that she's doing. But poor thing, she has to do that because in case there is a DGCA person
Part of
sitting
the
around.
onboarding process.
Yeah, it's a mandatory thing. So nowadays in civil this thing, the DGCA persons are sitting inspectors. So they check whether all these things be happening. If they see that the cabin crew has not done thing and all that, then she will be put on paper and she'll be grounded and suspended for some time, some training and other things. So DGCA inspectors keep coming without announcing their names.
Are
So
flight marshals real?
Yeah. We had that air marshals, we call. So when that Jammu and Kashmir things were there, and few times where the air marshals were there, but Sky Marshals they call. So not air marshals, sorry, Sky Marshals they are called. So they will be only declared to the crew that too only the CCIC, the chief cabin crew, and to the cockpit.
Okay.
So we know they are designated place, they are there, and they have got their own things ready to do some things because they expect anything can happen in that particular sector.
It's kind of a detective in the...
Yeah, so their eyes are always in vigils, checking anything happening.
Okay. So does that happen often or once in a while?
No, I don't think I've heard anything. But that was quite oftenly it was happening during the Jammu Kashmir tensions. I mean, not now, sometimes back.
Okay.
10, 15 years back, that was...
not a thing.
Normal to have. Nowadays, I don't see.
And can lightning also bring down a plane?
Yeah, the lightning in the way it has come. So communication will be first of all marred because we have got antennas outside. So that will be affected. And it depends upon the charge what the lightning is happening and the size of the aircraft to which it is made. Because the aircrafts are structurally made to handle these things, all of them. But in case it's a huge thing and suddenly one after the other something comes up, there are chances of aircraft catching fire.
So we often talk about airlines, but what about HAL? What is its role in shaping the aviation industry in India?
Yeah. So what all we have talked till now was about commercial aviation. Okay. Basically, the passengers being transported from place A to place B. But then Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, the HAL, is basically for defense aerospace. So they have made aircraft for the defense. So Jaguar was there, MQ1 was there. Quite a few aircraft they have made and still being flown. And the latest one being the Tejas, that is LCA, Light Combat Aircraft. So that is also getting inducted into the Air Force now. So historically they have always been having the background of defense, and that is especially for Air Force. As I said, sometimes like in Hyderabad, we have done some systems for the Navy and other things, but basically for Air Force. And then nowadays, of course, they have started coming into the commercial market also. For a few manufacturers, they have made some doors, some mechanical components and other things. And they have got a very good technical personnel with them, highly skilled, knowledgeable, and then very good infrastructure. Not many people will have, not many establishments will have. So they have a good scope of getting into the commercial side also, so that they can increase their capabilities and this thing.
From where does HAL recruit?
It's a normal recruitment. It's a public sector undertaking. So it had the advertisement has to come in the newspapers or in the employment exchange. Then generally it will be an engineer, a minimum engineering
Aeronautics
background.
engineer or
No,
all
it depends.
sorts of
So all sorts of engineers. So if they want for something for mechanical, because all the components are also made by them only. So we have CNCs, so numerical controls, computer numerical controls for the machines and other things. So they require mechanical people, they require electronics people, IT people nowadays, because lots of software also is getting into the aircraft.
Yeah, upgrading the software and apps and all that. Yeah.
So they require all types of engineering, electrical basically. So sometimes maybe they are of different background, they can, but proper training they get into the other sector also.
Okay. Can a commercial pilot fly the military aircrafts or no? What's the difference between
In fact, a military pilot also cannot fly this one, because the total idea is different. So what we are trying to do in a commercial aircraft is maintaining safety. It's always the safety of the passengers which is flying them. So they're all particular speeds, so particular accelerations, so that it should not hamper the
It's
safety of
completely
the
different.
safety of the thing. So, but otherwise, if flying a defense aircraft, it is like adventurism. You must have seen in this air shows and other
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it? A commercial pilot, it's very difficult. Maybe one strain he will do. That's a different story, but it is not for them. So the G factors are totally different there and here. The speeds are totally different. And the speeds are much, much less in a commercial aircraft than a defense aircraft. So the
Okay.
total technology and the scope itself is different.
And what is the deal with this autopilot button? We see it in movies, just
So every
pressing.
takeoff has to be still done by a pilot only. It will not be done by an autopilot. So after attaining certain altitude, after you take off, you can put the autopilot on. So now the autopilot will be simply trying to follow the flight plan which we have already put it into the MCD. I was referring to MCD. It's a computer basically where it knows where you want to fly from this place to that place.
Point A to point B.
Yeah, so point A to point B, and at what we have a flight plan A, B. Like we have something called waypoints are there. So it will be stringed to which waypoint, how you will go. So, but otherwise, the altitudes at which you are cleared to, that has to be given by ATC only.
Okay.
So ATC will say after takeoff you are cleared to this altitude. The pilot will take to that particular altitude. He can hook on the autopilot, so the autopilot will take you to that altitude. He did not interfere. It's stable flight till that, and then at that particular altitude. Again, depending upon the situation and the congestion, the ATC will clear you to the next altitude. So again, after that, taking that one, again he wants to put the autopilot on, he can do that. And once you reach the cruise altitude, so for all these aircrafts, normally it will be about 30,000 feet. Okay, so the higher you fly, as I was telling you, the lesser the air. So what is the benefit the aircraft is having? The less friction. Aircraft going through that thin air, less friction, isn't it? You are going in a thick air, more friction. So naturally, the aircraft will become more fuel efficient. So less air, less friction. Naturally, the fuel consumption by the engine will, because there is less friction. Aircraft is able to go smoothly through that air. So less fuel consumption. So the higher the altitude, that is the benefit. And of course, each aircraft will have a ceiling altitude. The manufacturer will say it is not certified to fly above that altitude. So generally, all these
So that is set by the aircraft
manufacturer.
Okay.
He is doing the structures, so he is doing all the systems.
It's a limit to the altitude.
So that's called as the ceiling altitude, above which your aircraft is not certified. Like how your car manufacturers say more than this speed your aircraft, you are not supposed to do like that. So, but generally all the aircrafts are certified up to 39,000. Few of them above 39 also, up to 42,000 also. Generally 39,000. So ATC will try to place you above 30, depending upon whatever the flight plans that get filed with them. So they will accordingly allot a particular cruise altitude. So once you go to that cruise altitude, from A you have departed, you have reached the cruise altitude. Let us say ATC has given you 33,000 today. So you're flying at that 33,000 altitude continuously towards your destination. So when you're approaching the destination, then you do a descent, and then an approach, and then a landing.
Okay.
So this is how it goes. So at every point of time, your ATC is there monitoring you, and you will be able to get any guidance in case of anything.
There are two different kinds of landing, if I remember it. Crash landing, hard landing. What is that from this?
Crash landing is basically like the aircraft will get into a crash.
That is crash landing.
That is basically the aircraft has lost the control.
The hard landing is different?
Hard landing is the passengers are feeling the bump.
Oh, okay. Turbulence?
Turbulence is in flight, isn't it? You're there in flight, and you're going through a turbulence, so you can see the total aircraft getting affected because of that, and a smaller aircraft will feel that more because a small one, so it will easily get affected because of the turbulence. But a big aircraft like 787 or maybe 777 is going through the same turbulence, you hardly feel it because it's a bigger aircraft, it is able to withstand properly. But then smaller aircraft like this 320 and especially this turboprops, so they severely get affected. So passengers can actually feel the weather phenomena, they can feel that happening. So that is turbulent, that is in air. But then hard landing, you were saying. Hard landing is something because the landing was not made smooth for whatever reason.
Oh, okay.
Generally, people all give that credit to the pilot. Smooth landing and hard landing.
Okay.
So
basically, I was thinking if there's a turbulence, then either it is a hard landing, it is called as a
turbulences are basically in flight happen.
In flight.
But if you have a severe weather, let us say in the approach, sometimes it can happen, as you said. So that severe approach during approach if you have, and then still the aircraft was handled somewhere, and then that is basically uncontrolled, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the pilot could not make a perfect landing on that day. So a perfect landing is that you touch down, but still you don't feel that it has
Don't
touched
feel.
down.
Yeah, it's smoother.
So smooth.
So all this kind of terminology related to landing is while you are landing,
The hard
not
landing
because
and
of any reasons.
so
Got it.
turbulence, what you have said is in air.
Mhm.
So severe weather phenomena, basically turbulence.
Okay, let's come to career in aviation. What are some other career options in aviation industry
Yeah, so
apart
when
from pilot and cabin crew?
Generally, people are seeing pilots and the cabin crew.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the tip of the
So
iceberg, I
beyond
can say.
cockpit and
So
the
because
crew.
that is what passengers are seeing, isn't it?
Yes.
That is what
That's
they know
visible.
aviation of.
Yeah.
They are the frontline people. But there are many other things, starting with AMEs, aircraft maintenance engineers, then technicians. Then we have got ground handling, ramp handling. You know the ramp, right? Where you are putting
Yes,
the ramp,
yes,
and
yeah.
so you have the ramp handling is. So they are all ground handling people. The cargo loading. So they should know exactly to which aircraft, which which baggage has to go.
Yeah.
If they get confused there, then they have specific ways of doing that. And then we have tow carts. So aircraft to be towed. And then you have got the commercial, where the tickets have been, your boarding cards have been given,
Yeah.
checked, and then any problem, then immediately. So let us say suddenly some delay. So that already the boarding cards have been given, thinking the incoming aircraft will come at this time, but the incoming aircraft, because of some reason, technical
There
snag,
could be
so
delay.
they delay.
That happens quite often.
Yeah, so the commercial people on ground has to pacify the passengers now.
Yeah, yeah.
Because these passengers must have already thought this will take off at 12:30, and I've got an appointment at 4:30 there. I need to get. So that is going to affect. So he'll be making a racket now. So how to pacify them and these things. So this is, we have commercial people. We have security. We have aircraft security. We have got CRPF. We have the security people who are checking there. That is called as BCAS, basically Bureau of Civil Aviation Security people. So we have got security. ATC is another beautiful thing. There actually, I can tell you, the unsung heroes of this aviation. Of course, pilots directly get the credit of doing it. But then so many aircrafts, so much of congestion, and without any air accidents or maybe collisions, they're able to handle. So yes, they also have got technology now, new air systems to do this. Everything is there, but still the human intelligence goes a lot. Especially, I should talk about this Operation Sindoor when this has happened. Pakistan, as retaliation, has closed the airspace. Of course, India also closed later on 30th. They did on 24th and they did on 30th, I guess. But then all the aircrafts were going from Delhi, were routed through Bombay.
Yeah.
As such, Bombay has got a shortage of ATCOs, that is air traffic control officers. So they're supposed to be having about 400 plus. They hardly have any 300 right now.
So the congestion would have been.
So they were handling. Normally they are made to handle about little less than 1,000, maybe 950 flights per day. So because of all this rerouting, they were handling about 2,000 flights per day. So in a day of about 24 into 60, which comes to about 1440 minutes, less than 1440 minutes, they were handling about 2,000 flights.
That's commendable.
That's coming less than a minute, they were handling one. And with such no complaints, no these things, they never said we will not do this and all that, isn't it?
Yes,
they have done
national
everything.
interest.
Yes, yeah.
So
nobody has said. Later on, nobody has been awarded. Nobody has been awarded or given. I do not know they have given any appreciation certificates and all. They are real unsung heroes. So they have done that. And earlier also, when this Kargil attack was there, that time also it was rerouting. And many of the foreign airlines also were trying to go to Bombay only. They were not using
because
that.
of Russia, Ukraine as well.
And then this Turkey Tehran thing had happened. So those people also have closed. Iran also has closed the airspace. So normal flight, which is taking about 8.5 hours, was coming to 9.5 to 10 hours. So just imagine these geopolitical situations, whatever the reason they have this problem, so much of fuel. I told you the fuel is what is the most, so much of fuel getting wasted.
Yeah.
So much of fuel getting wasted. Time, this thing started, everything was going on to bonkers.
Yeah, the one question that came to my mind all of a sudden from this geopolitics discussion is I don't understand what does it mean by using a airspace of some other country, like the Chinese using, the US using Pakistani air bases.
Not air bases, airspace.
Airspace, yeah.
So now you're flying over India and this is all controlled by Indian ATCs, isn't it? So from a certain point from around India, when you're flying into the airspace, you will get handed over to the Indian ATCs. So that means you're flying over Indian airspace now. So your Indian ATC is continuously monitoring. Your let us say it's an American aircraft. Your ATC in America cannot guide this for now, isn't it? So you're flying into the Indian airspace now, and then Indian airspace is guiding you till you go out of the India, whichever the path you have taken. Maybe over Delhi, over Bangladesh, and then you have gone.
Using
then you're out.
other countries' airspace, but also air bases. If you see, there's a rumor that US used Pakistani airbase to attack Iran.
That is all. That is mean they have parked their car.
But can they like just
No, yeah, your
take a
government has
permission
agreed.
and-
What do you do?
Okay.
They are in hand, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more
Whatever they
political
deny, whatever
interest.
they say, it is all very obvious.
Yeah, so they
So-
just inform that hey, this
Huh,
country is
so
coming to use their
yeah,
airbase.
they don't require any agreements or any signatures. They are in good friendship. Maybe with Russia, we also can do if they have got
Yeah,
good. It was a very
Western
good ally to
relations,
us,
yeah.
isn't it? So basically, we go together in decision making. We support each other. So if there's a need, maybe Russia also will allow us. We will allow Russia to do that. Maybe we do not know. Need come. So it's basically an understanding between the governments there. So it's happening. So maybe US people were parking their aircraft there and using their bases to take off taking and then come down again. So it can happen.
Do you think with this SpaceX, Elon Musk's SpaceX with space exploration, is it a next big thing about aviation industry around the world?
It can happen.
Extension to it?
Yeah, he's a man with wealth, isn't it?
Yeah.
So money matters a lot in aviation.
But is it practical space exploration as an extension from the aviation industry? What can be done there?
It can be done maybe. If we want a proper space aircrafts, which has to be done. So like what? See, if ISRO is doing that for us in the India.
Oh, ISRO is doing it for
No, ISRO is for India, isn't it?
India.
That is a space research
But is
organization
it
for us.
coordinating with DGCA and
No,
HAL?
ISRO,
and others?
DGCA is only for commercial. Not for, but ISRO is in hands with HAL. HAL makes some parts and other things which ISRO, which for a space aircraft is required. HAL itself has got an aerospace division in Bangalore.
No, maybe it
So they
comes down
can-
to DGCA because when it becomes commercial,
Ah,
maybe
so
10
if
years
that
down
is
the
what
line.
happens, if Elon Musk is what he's aiming for,
Yeah.
space to become
Because people are buying lands in
so
Mars.
so a space travel for them just like a pleasure tour. You go see what is happening at space and then come back. So if he wants to do that and he's really determined and more importantly has got money, he does that, and people who have money who would like to venture into that, maybe.
So what kept you in this industry for so long? And some stories that has stayed with you?
Yeah, I don't have much of the stories, but yes, I told you the interacting with the pilots had been, a very good thing for me. So, and today also, in spite of all this technology and in spite of all this upgrading things, flight is still a awe and a wonder, isn't it? So, and it is not just the pilot who is taking the aircraft and then flying off, isn't it? There is so much of coordination, teamwork
That happens
for
in
one
the back
for
end.
one flight, for one flight to happen. So many people are involved, and against all odds, against the gravity, an aircraft, such a huge aircraft with so many people, is able to take off smoothly and then go forward and then go to the destination. That's the awe of flight, even
Yes.
today. That still
That's
holds to
true,
me like
yeah.
that. So yes, maybe that is what I to be a part of the whole journey like this. It finds very nice to me, wonderful to me.
Got it. And anything that you would like to see a change implemented in aviation industry in India? Anything you would like to change?
Anything I would like to change? Yeah, I do not know much the regulations and other things now, whatever the DGCA is making. To be the problem again, even if I say I want this, I want that, the problem is again the personal. DGCA also is hard pressed for many people.
Yeah.
They don't have enough people. We have got safety audits. So we have got safety audits in the airlines. We have got audits by DGCA. We have got audits by something called IOSA, International Operation Safety Audits. So sometimes FAA people come. So all these audits we need to maintain. DGCA requires quite a number of people, instructors and other things. Many of the flight instructors, because checking the simulators and
You
other
mean
things.
DGCA is understaffed?
Understaffed, yes, very much. So they need to, and actually that was also a pressing this thing they found out in the audits, that they do not have enough people. So all these things to come up to a mark, it has to be a teamwork from everybody, that this is what has to be done and this is how we have to follow. So it's a huge and a very big responsibility, not just by one DGCA maybe. The airlines also has to shoulder the responsibility. The government also has to give the responsibility. So government is also doing a very good job. We just had about maybe 70 airports we had in 2014 or something. Now we have come up to 170 airports. The fleet is also expanding, 850, but still when compared to China, it is very less. China has got a fleet of about 4,000 aircrafts with 250 airports. So our number of aircrafts are about more than double, but then the fleet is still 850. We are being plagiarized with this supply deliveries chains problems, and then delay in the aircrafts deliveries. So Indigo has placed about 500 aircrafts in 2023 or so, the A320 Neos. So thinking that the aviation boom will be there in India, that is the reason they have placed that order, isn't it? But the delivery schedule has to be maintained. That is not being maintained to in Indigo also. So that is getting affected, all those things. So somebody to streamline all these things, somebody who takes a whip and say, no, everything has to come. Everything has to go, because everybody has got their own aspirations. Thinking something will happen, they are planning for that, and that something never happens.
Yeah.
So that is getting
Maybe more
affected.
accountability.
Yeah, more
needs to be there.
accountability and more punctualities, more streamlining, reliabilities, and other those things have need to be improved.
Maybe a culture of greatness as well in the
Yeah.
industry.
Correct. And you should be, you see, but something has been told, it has to be done, isn't it? Not questioned all the time.
Yeah.
It has been done with some intelligence or maybe some persistence of thinking, and that it is going to give you something good. That is the reason something regulation or something will be made. Why question every time? Sometimes you can simply follow also. The tendency is less in Indians. Maybe that has to be improved
Yeah.
also.
That's true. That's true. Thank you, Anu ma'am, for your time. I think this was very informative, and I'm sure viewers will find it informative as well.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much for your
Thank
time.
you so much. Thank you, Jay. Nice
Thank you.
seeing with you.
Same here.